Your point is 100% true, that it's an overall generalized policy. US
Yeah.
is not trying to discriminate against Pakistan. That's not true at all. But the Pakistani argument is that if US really wants to make a difference on the ground in a situation in Pakistan locked in the war against terrorism with the neighboring war in Afghanistan, which we also should touch upon, then could not US do something for a limited time period, like say 3 to 5 years, providing tariff reductions that can generate employment? But when you have hungry stomachs and empty minds, then you have extremism. And this is the stated policy objective, especially of the Obama administration, that you would like to reduce extremism in this part. So the tariff reductions can actually help in terms of generating employment. And Pakistan only has exports of $1 billion, slightly excess of $1 billion of textile exports made up to US anyway, and has no capacity to increase it more than $3 billion or $4 billion anyway. So if your administration makes some kind of difference over here, tariff reductions can make a huge difference in terms of generating employment.
Well, I think that it's clear from the enormous effort we've put into the ROZ legislation that we think generating trade opportunities is a very high priority for the U.S. policy in Pakistan. I think we have to pursue our policies towards Pakistan in the context that understands the challenge of trade legislation and trade policy. We're happy to explore a wide range of ideas in our discussions with the government of Pakistan. But I think it's also important to recognize that the United States is not a monolithic system. As you've already noted, the Kerry-Lugar legislation, as it moves through the Congress, evolves. Our effort on the Reconstruction Opportunity Zones evolves. We have to work collaboratively with our Congress to make policy. And we're investing an enormous effort in that. We're putting it above many other issues, many other important priorities, and we'll continue to work together to try to create economic opportunity in Pakistan.
One last set of questions. I know that you're hard pressed for time. People wonder, I mean, that perhaps the Americans, perhaps the US administration does not understand the kind of stresses and pressures that are being generated for 180 million people of Pakistan because of the war effort in Afghanistan. Is there a vision for the war effort in Afghanistan? Is there a time scale? Is there a time, especially at the time when at the time of the Afghanistan election, the whole operation in Afghanistan is increasingly becoming more unpopular within the United States, especially among the Democratic voters?
You know, the strategic review that the President undertook at the very beginning of his presidency produced a plan. The plan was based on a strategic vision. It had a military component. It had a civilian component. We are just now in the stages of implementing the program. The funding for the program was only enacted by our Congress in July, and it's now the beginning of September. So we're very early in the implementation of a very complicated program. I can speak more directly to the civilian side. That's the piece that I'm directly responsible for. And I think that it's a very ambitious program that we've undertaken to put 1,000 U.S. employees on the ground in Afghanistan, to work closely with Afghan institutions so that we'll have a 10-to-1 ratio of U.S. to non-U.S. to Afghan mostly employees, which will give us the ability to have a presence in the most critical parts of the country. I'm looking forward, following my visit to Pakistan, to going on to Afghanistan. And I was there as well in March, April, and what I'm told by our military and civilian leaders who've been there subsequently is that there are already signs on the ground that it makes a difference. That if you go into Helmand, you see the right civilians in the right place with the right skills at the right time. Now, to repeat that time and again is very hard. It's a difficult environment, as I don't need to tell you, but we're committed to putting our best people there with the resources they need to get the job done. Working closely with the ministries of Afghanistan, very much like the conversation we had about Pakistan, but also with non-governmental organizations and international organizations.
But just the last question. Is there a time frame at a time when you're now increasingly dependent upon the Conservatives and the Republican support rather than your own vote bank, Democrats, for the Afghan? I mean, this is the ABC Washington survey, the latest on 31st August.
I think that the truth is that it will be a good thing for the American people if there's bipartisan support for a very difficult mission like this. And you know, I've been now away a week. A week is a long time in the current environment. I think it's premature to answer the question because we're having conversations as Congress returns from its summer break where members of Congress in the Senate will be briefed on what's happened since they left. And much of the implementation has happened in the last month because it's half of the time since the funding has been available. I think we need to give it time. We need to take the time, just as we need to talk to the people of Pakistan. We have to talk to the people of the United States. These are difficult assignments that we're asking people to take. These are difficult programs we're implementing. I don't think anyone could sit and confidently say, even if we do everything right, that it's easy. It's very hard, but it's very important.
Are you optimistic?
I live life as an optimist. I think that we face challenges that are always bigger than what we would choose to face, and that's why public service is such an extraordinary opportunity. It's a chance to make the world a better place and to make life for the American people both better and safer. So I choose to be an optimist even knowing fully how difficult the challenge ahead is.
Jack, thank you.
Thank you.